Good morning. Now we're here to talk about how to fight a bully using the pen with the pen. Now let's recap last part. I did talk about a little bit how the psychological effects of bullying. I did talk about how to combat it, just a little bit about it, and we'll talk a little bit more about how to do it. We'll talk about. I talked about how bullying can affect not only the physical health, but also the emotional, spiritual, and the mental health of years to come for young adults and teenagers and middle school kids. I also did a talk about how that there are some ways to overcome it, or at least control the violence. And there are some places where it's you know it's it's hard to get around it, so you have to upend your child to another location, or drop out of school to get a GED and go to school, and they can. I know they want to walk across that stage and get a full-bred scholarship, but sometimes it's just not possible. So, like I mentioned before, I went to 8 colleges. I got 2 certifications, a bachelor's, and I'm working on my master's. So there is hope at the other end. Good enough diploma, GEDs, just as well. And there are places where you can. There's sites to where you can apply for scholarships every day, every quarter, every half year, every year to pay for your school if you don't get a full ride. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. Step one, and this is the most crucial part, parents. Get a book and read this book called The Art of War. And what it is it's by a Chinese philosopher that basically Sun Tzu, who basically said that deception and war is what wins the battles. So but there's also a section in there to where it says to build a bridge for your enemy. That's because, and this is a great reason why, you want to surrender your bullying into hurting your kid. Now, how do you surrender? Well, I gave you a little bit of answers last part by saying, you can go to the principal, you can go to the teacher, and I'll give you some more information here in a little bit. But you build a bridge when they feel they're being uncomfortable, they'll be exposed, or they'll get in trouble and they'll back off and they won't hurt the child ever again. Or hopefully, maybe they'll do it, and maybe they may be so angry that snitches get stitches. But if you don't snitch, then wake up and somebody else does, and somebody bigger than they are, then they won't dare make a move on your child, or them who basically protected your child, not snitched. So it really is a twofold truth. I mean, but read that book, learn how to set that bridge for the bully, and hopefully they'll take it and surrender their power over your kid, because that's what's happening. Your kid feels powerless and they feel hopeless that anything can happen, that nobody's going to help them, and there is no end out of it, and that's why they go to homicidal ideations or suicidal ideations. It's okay to enter a hospital saying those things, because they're not going to arrest anybody. They're just going to try to understand what's going on, and also to basically how to help them overcome it with short-term medications and seeing group therapists or individual therapists. Now, if you don't have medical insurance, then government insurance will also support that too. Any way, private or public, they don't want to see people hurt, especially your child. I guarantee you that. I know that for a fact. But because I've seen all the state government agencies giving insurance out to those who really desperately need it. But that's another issue. That's political. We're not here to talk about that. But also to how to build a case. Number two, go to your principal, go to your child's teacher, and explain the situation. You want to explain the situation that they're under, and you want to have them have two sets of books on each subject. And what that basically says is that at the end of the day, or during lunch or recess, they can always say, well, your child can say, well, ma'am, can I go? Can I go to the restroom, and it's 30 minutes early? All the second set of books, they're in their lockers, and the books they need to take home for homework are in their backpack, and they can leave 30 minutes early when they take the bus, public transportation, or they have a friend or family member pick them up. That way they won't have to go through the bullying incidents. But also too, you can also say, right when class ends, or when recess or lunch ends, they can raise their hand and say, teacher, can I talk to you privately? It's no big issue. It's about schoolwork. And pretty well the bullying in that class will understand that it's not about them, but it's really about them. So number one, what I'm trying to say in short is be unpredictable. And that will help them to overcome the fear and the avoidance of being hurt in all categories. So be unpredictable. Number three, go to the press. No superintendent, no principal wants to hear about bad press in their school, because if they do, then that just makes them look bad, and the students' parents will be more concerned, and they'll start calling and asking them all sorts of questions, and they don't want that big headache. But if you feel what you have to do, if you want to save your child, because you don't want them to commit suicide or homicide or go and murder people, because mass shootings, because their life is just beginning. They don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if I had 4 attempts, and the days after I had my attempts, I had blessings, and I would never imagine that. Boy, was I basically out of it. And I didn't realize it after days after I did my attempts, that there were blessings coming all over the place, and I didn't realize that. But so never stop what you basically started. Let it work itself out. It's just like my old AA John Paul mentor taught me, don't stop the beauty when it hasn't even blossomed. And that's the thing about a person. They start growing, and they blossom into a beautiful person with the right fertilizer and ground and pot, and that's what they have the potential to be. So go to the papers. They love stories like that. They don't want to report deaths. It just so happens they do, but they want charges. And that's what they report on. Number 3 or 4, I forget, is try to build a case, yes, because if they get a felony assault, then their life is screwed. Will never be able to get a decent job, or a fair job, a good paying job, because they have a criminal record. And they'll regret what they just did over time. Of course, they'll put the blame game on for somebody, but really, when they look into themselves, they'll understand. If they reflect, they'll feel the shame. They just won't admit it. So you may want to be able to strongly put that blame on them, and let them understand it, because there is a new charge that's been around for 10, 15 years with domestic violence. Male or female can be domestically violent. It's just not primarily females, even though it's female, it's women dominated. But there's a charge called terroristic threat, and that's a misdemeanor. Some states, I think it's felony. But if you say, I'm gonna kick your ass, or you're gonna find them and hurt them, and that's a terroristic threat. They can go to jail, depending on the state charges. Some goes to 90 to 100 days, 180 days, and some on probation to restraining orders and no contact orders. So basically, that gives your child the advantage and you the advantage of staying away. Number 6 or 5, one or the other. I'll just go on. Teach your children to always be aware of their environments. They have to be aware of their environments in order to see the danger coming ahead of them. For me personally, I have headphones on most of the time, and I have my head down because I'm looking at the ground to see what patterns come up. But I also do hear the cars going by, and I also do pick up and look at what's going on. Because I learned that from a Marine who was a recon Marine a long time ago, that always to be aware of your surroundings. Simplify. But I did learn it also too through a Green Beret who was a Purple Heart Vietnam veteran. It was just a 4-hour class, but that's just 4 hours. You have to go through basic training and Green Beret school just to be that advanced. That me going through that plus my bouncing days is no measure to what this Vietnam vet guy Green Beret went through to gain his Purple Heart. So mine is small compared to his, but that could also be a terroristic threat. Can also, and being aware of your surroundings are a perfect dichotomy of how you understand what's going on and comprehending everything in your child's life. And finally, and most importantly, have your kid count the number of yards. Well, I got one more. Count the number of yards it takes to get to the car, because I was once a rodman in a surveying team for 3 months, and 17 steps are regular steps you take are approximately 50 feet. Now, if you go 34, it's 100 feet, so forth and so forth. So have them understand that, counting the yards helps them have a safe, comfort, safe comfort zone to where they know they can reach safety. It helps counting, plus it's a distraction, takes off your mind. And finally, the most important thing, have your child be in the camera's view, because if there's a school with cameras, then it could always record the way called the incident going on, because most time the bullies, they have friends and that record the incident and encourage them to continue the bullying and the incident. So you can count on that, because they love, the internet is filled with that kind of content. But you can contradict that with the cameras from the school, and you can see all those who participated, who was a perpetrator, and who were just bystanders not willing to help out your child or children. But it is difficult, because some schools don't have cameras. They're on a basis of a basic. What's the right word to look for it? I think it's self-measured, or it's not self-protected, but they're protected. They're kind of idealistic in thinking that nothing will happen in the school when it actually does, because that's the number one thing. Always expect the unexpected, because Murphy's Law will teach you what can go wrong will always go wrong. So things change, and that's another thing. A constant thing is only change. Those are natural laws, all 3 laws. But these are the most important things you can teach your children. Once again, read that book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. and learn how to build that bridge and have, instead of having your child beat up or shoot a enemy or a bully, have them learn to build that bridge and have them that bully surrender before he gets caught or he gets in trouble, and he'll never touch a kid again. Hopefully, I can't tell you the future. If I did, I'd be able to tell you which balls to pick for the power, the lotto or the Powerball, and with scratch-off tickets that'll be winners. I wish I had that power. I'd be rich right now, laying on the beach of Boca Raton, or who knows, or Bora Bora, or my Davies. Yeah, drinking Cristal, but who knows. So that's part 2. I'll come up with part 3 on how to fight a bully with a pen. That's the best way I can tell you as of now. Bye-bye.